Hey everybody, this is Brad Bruce and I am here with
Jase Marsiglia.
And you're listening to the 5195 podcast. That felt nice.
Yeah, it did.
It's been a minute.
It sounded nice.
It hasn't been a minute for the listeners.
No, it's been a week.
Yeah. But for us, what's it, 3 months?
Yes.
3 months?
At least 3 months since we had a blitz. We blitzed through a ton of episodes. We blitzed through a script, started a whole new one.
Mm-hmm.
And yes, for those listening who listened a week or two ago, yeah, we are knucks deep into Tycoon's bitch. Tycoon's bitch.
So, obviously, you're back in Cali.
Yes.
That was nice.
Right here, right now.
Yeah. So, what have you been up to?
Not a lot, just work.
Yeah.
The 9 to 5.
Yeah.
And, just continuing with you to lay a trail towards maybe doing this full time. Doing the writing thing full time. It would be great.
We have a guest tonight.
Oh, wow. Hi, Dracula.
That's awesome.
No, point your anus towards the camera.
That's fucking awesome.
That's a great shot. Why'd you name him Butthole?
It fits. That's awesome.
This cat is good. I'm gonna wake up with this cat on my head.
Oh, you are. That's awesome. The family cat is on the podcast table, just inspecting, making sure. He's like engineering.
He is.
He's engineering.
He's all nimbly blimbly.
Yeah, we'll have to put a picture of said cat on our socials just so they can kind of see what we're talking about. But so while he's doing his thing, being a cat.
Which is literally pointing his butthole right at my face right now.
It really is.
Tails up and everything. I'm like, come on, dude.
It really is. That's great.
Now I have to look at two assholes.
Nice.
Ugh.
Hit the ground running. Which one smells worse? You don't have to smell the cat's ass.
I almost don't have a choice. Look at him.
This fucking guy.
He's just like, yeah, this is my show now.
Yeah. I mean, at least contribute. Get on a mic. Wow. Well.
He just draped his tail across the mic like that's all you get.
So no like new writing or anything, any ideas or.
Not really. I've been sticking with, mostly I've been writing the action scenes for the Western.
Okay.
And those have been going pretty good. Mm-hmm. That's fun stuff. And then I haven't really been putting it on the computer. I haven't really jumped onto Fade In, but I've been hand writing a lot of material for the Search for Cellar Dweller comedy. Okay.
I was actually asked about that.
Were you really?
Believe it or not, yeah.
Who asked about that?
Because we had recently went to a Monsterpalooza in Pasadena.
Yeah.
And one of the vendors, because I usually do like the whole, like, if they're cool people and, I buy something from them or whatnot, like we kind of do the, do you like podcasts?
Sure.
It's like, oh, well, here's a sticker. I have a podcast, blah, blah, blah. And like the guy was like, oh, I listened to it.
Oh, so he was already familiar.
And I was like, oh, okay. And I was like, well,
did he have no idea until you gave him the sticker?
Yeah.
And he was like, oh, yeah, I know this.
Yeah. And so I asked him, I was like, well, how did you hear about it? And he's like, oh, someone had gave me a sticker at Creep IE. No
kidding.
Oh, wow. That's cool. Okay.
Very cool.
And literally they brought up the Cellar Dweller thing. Like, so what's going on with that?
It's funny to me.
Yeah.
And I mean, that's the thing too, is when people ask me about it, whether it's a friend or family or something, they go, why Cellar Dweller? And I go, well, that's part of the joke.
Right.
I'm writing this comedy about an entire night blown looking for a movie, and it's not even Gone with the Wind. It's not even Citizen Kane.
Right.
It's a horror movie that...
But it's our Gone with the Wind.
It is. It's one that we enjoy.
Yeah.
But it's not even in the horror pantheon, it's not even like I'm risking my life to get The Exorcist or so. No, it's just Cellar Dweller, which is by all accounts a movie that kind of just disappeared for the longest time. And I'm like, that's kind of what makes it funny, is it's nothing spectacular. It's just, everyone, by the end of the movie, that's why, or at least what I'm aiming for is by the end of it, everyone going, all that for Cellar Dweller? You know what I mean? Like, to me, the absurdity of it is why it's so funny.
That's what's good.
And, I'm kind of just, I'm banking on that being just what makes it funny from the get, and then adding jokes to that foundation.
Okay.
Of, this is absurd, and for what? So I've written, I don't know, maybe, I don't want to say a third, probably not even that. I've at least gotten a solid intro out of the way.
Okay.
I've got a great opening for it that sets everything up beautifully. And then,
but as far as story, you got all that.
Yes.
Yeah.
I believe Cellar Dweller, the comedy anyway, it's, I think I've got it mapped 3/4.
Oh, wow. Okay.
I don't really have an ending, but I have that one mostly mapped out. I have, at least a bullet points and a structure for a first, second, third act.
Yeah. Okay.
And then I need to tack a finale.
Yeah.
And we had talked about me. It's not just Cellar Dweller. I thought it would be kind of cool to write it as a tribute to just Empire Pictures. Because Cellar Dweller was one of the late Empire movies before the company went bankrupt.
Right.
And which is what makes it even funnier, because this is a movie that was sort of unceremoniously dumped on video. It might have played in a couple of theaters, but it wasn't, by that point, Empire was done.
Yeah.
It was sort of like this kid without a home.
Right.
So I'm like, it would be kind of funny if this was just, not just for Cellar Dweller, but sort of an Empire Pictures nod. And I've been toying around with the idea of the finale taking place at a carnival as a nod to Ghoulies 2. Because it's just chaos at the end of that movie. And I'm like, a carnival seems like a good chaotic place to wrap everything up.
Yeah.
So I'm toying with that idea and the logistics of that. And but that's about it.
Yeah. But you've been busy.
I've been busy. No, I've maintained creativity.
And even though, you're not boots on the ground here, this show still takes up a lot of our time.
Yes.
Because we're doing a lot of editing and going back and forth. And, it's like there's a lot of work that we still do.
There is. The show is always paramount.
Yeah.
I mean,
same for me.
It's definitely one of the first and last things I'm thinking of before I go to bed. Particularly, like, you live with it a lot more than I do. We had to talk about this afternoon. How with the editing, you're listening to it. I should say parts of it repeatedly, over and over and over, while you condense and trim and this and that and the other. Whereas I'm out here, I record it, and then it's out of my mind. And then when you upload the edit, I kind of get to relive it again, and then go through and try to come up with our blurbs and titles. Right. And that's me getting to kind of rediscover what we did X number of weeks ago.
Right. Yeah, getting to revisit it again.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yep.
That's actually kind of interesting to me. I'd kind of like to do that one time, just to see what it's like to be able to record it and then not edit it myself,
Sure.
and then like listen to it like, a month or, whatever it is later, just to kind of see. I'm curious about that. Like how.
I wonder if we could just do like a shit episode, fuck around.
Aren't they all?
Yeah. A shittier episode. And, one that we don't necessarily have to have in the coffers for, and then, in a month or so, just be like, hey, why don't you dig that, that bonus one out?
Yeah.
And then give it a listen.
Yeah.
That gives you're at least removed enough from it, to be like, oh yeah, I completely forgot we did that one.
Yeah. It's the same thing with me with the show. Is like, it's kind of like, it's always at the forefront of everything that I'm doing, and it's like, we kind of decided during this last break of the 3 months we've had, going back and forth on the show, we kind of decided to up our game a little bit as far as like what we're doing and we have some pretty big plans coming up.
We do.
For not just the show, but just the growth of other shows and what we want to do and build. So hopefully we'll be able to give, more announcements as they come in and they get more solidified, as to what our plans are, But I mean, at the end of the day, the bottom line is like, we want to start our own network.
Yes.
Because we have a lot of friends that are, extremely talented and have a good idea for, shows, already do shows. So we kind of want to just have like one hub and like grab a bunch of cool people and put them all in the same, kind of a network.
Yep.
So that's kind of that's what's in the works right now for us. That's what we're doing.
The 5195 umbrella.
Yeah. And I'm super stoked about that, because it's like, it's been relatively smooth as far as contacting the people and asking them, and I don't want to give any names of who's coming on board yet, but
no, not until we've got things locked in.
Right. But there's actually some pretty cool people that are going to be on the network, that I'm super excited about. And,
there's a couple of shows that I'm aware of that, are more closer to happening than others, I would say.
Yeah, they are.
That I'm excited to hear about. And,
Same. Yeah.
I think they're going to be fun, and it'll be nice to just be there slightly as producer, but almost more of just an audience member, just supporting my friends.
Well, also as the co-owner of the network,
exactly.
So input is definitely going to be needed.
The input's needed, but I'm not as hands-on as I am as we are here,
right?
With our own show,
yeah.
So it'd be nice to be able to just kind of be like, oh, so and so's got their new program out.
Yeah,
and,
and it is cool because one of the shows you're talking about, I am producing it for them.
Yep.
And so that's actually a nice hat to be wearing. It takes a lot of the stress off of me as far as what we're doing here, and I was able to kind of sit in on a couple of the meetings with the two individuals and listening to the banter back and forth and the way it was working.
Yeah.
Listening to the conversations between these two, I was like, yeah, this is good shit. I think people are going to really enjoy this.
And from what you told me, it's such a different chemistry than what we've got.
It is.
That it's not just going to feel like, oh, well, this is just the sister show.
Exactly.
It's like, this is its own
It is its
thing
own
with
thing.
its own
Yeah.
voice. And I was
Yeah.
like, it's going to be super cool.
Yeah, because there was a couple of times during the whole thing, I was just like fly on the wall.
Yeah.
And literally like attacking it almost just from an audience member like standpoint. And I was like, yeah, this is good. Like I would listen to this. Like, this is cool.
Exactly.
It's entertaining. So I'm happy about that one. And, and it's like I said, as we get, we lock in more details, we'll give more information and, things like that. But
for sure.
Yeah, I'm happy about that. Like, I have started writing, one more script. I haven't even told you about it. I'll tell you about it right now.
Okay.
I have
5195 podcast exclusive.
I have two. One is actually, I'm writing the story right now just so I can kind of tailor it.
Yeah.
Like just see how it works. Like I'll write a bunch like as a story and see, does it make sense? Does it flow? And then I'll go back in and bye, Jase. And then I'll change some things, and when I do that, it I've never really done that before. Like I've never just written it as a story.
Oh,
Like, because like I've written this like out as a story
in like a book narrative.
Yeah.
Okay.
And it's kind of interesting, but the concept just came to me one night. I know this is going to sound crazy, but I was like thinking about what would really scare me.
Okay.
Like what would be a scary situation to be in?
Mm-hmm.
And I was just thinking different ideas, like what would be scary. And then all of a sudden, like it just hit me. I had recently been talking to someone. They know of this Firewatch house.
A Firewatch house?
Yeah, in the middle of nowhere.
Okay.
And when it was explained to me like what it was, I was just like, wow, it's pretty interesting. So essentially there's these guys that they'll go in the middle of the mountains And there's these homes. There's like a cabin, but it's like 150 feet in the air. And they get helicoptered in. Mm-hmm. And they're there for like the summer months.
Yeah.
And it's like a 20 by 20 cabin up in the sky. You know what I mean? Like
what? How is it suspended? Like
it's built like, you know, it's
stilts?
Yeah. Like, you know, and what it is just essentially you watch for fires and you watch for just natural disasters and things. And if something happens, you just radio in and, you know, they check it out.
No kidding. Okay.
Yeah. So, you know, I was like, it was interesting, you know, that idea. So I was like, well, that could be kind of scary in of itself.
Sure.
So I changed the location. You know, I had it to where this guy was doing it in the Appalachian Mountains.
Okay.
And I don't know if you're familiar with some of the folklore of the Appalachian Mountains.
No, I can't say that I am.
But this, like, man, if you ever want to go down a rabbit hole, just research, like, why people close their blinds at night in the Appalachian Mountains.
Really?
Just the stuff that's out there in those woods, whether it be mountain men, paranormal, like all kinds of shit.
No kidding.
Yeah.
Okay.
And so I started like really playing with the idea, and it started freaking me out.
Sure.
You know, so I really like was just thinking of all these crazy scenarios and shit. And of course, a lot of them have to do with mimics.
Mimics?
Yeah. Mimics are the things that I won't say the other thing.
Is it the thing I give you shit for?
Yeah.
Is it the same thing?
Yes.
Okay.
To a degree. It is.
It's just a different type?
Yeah.
Okay.
And so, you know, it's kind of like, think about like, you know, The Conjuring or like Insidious, but in the middle of the woods with Appalachian hill people.
Sure.
You know, and this guy just him and his dog out there alone, you know, and I wrote one. I remember one night I was writing. It was late as shit. It was like 3:00 in the morning, and I usually play creepy music when I write. You know,
yeah.
Like, and so I'm listening. I'm
same
listening to this music, and I'm rereading what I wrote, and out of nowhere, my window, like, just made this crazy noise.
Oh, fuck.
Yeah. And
like the blinds when I was watching
exactly.
Sightings. Yeah.
I just fucking came unglued. But it was the goddamn cat.
Of course.
Okay. And so it scared the shit out of me, you know? So I was like, I was already on edge. So I'm like, you know what? I might be onto something here.
I think so. I mean, if it affects you viscerally like that.
So it's like, so, you know, obviously off air, I'll tell you more details, like what I'm thinking, because I definitely want your input on that.
Yeah.
You know, so I'm heavily like involved in that one right now.
Okay.
I'm really having fun with it though. You know, like it's really cool because like, you know, I had talked about in some of the earlier episodes about how I have a hard time with actual scares.
Yes.
Writing scares.
Good jolts or something.
Yeah. So
you know.
I was really challenging myself to come up with some.
Sure.
And, you know, and do it. And I think I think it was easier for me to do it because the context of this.
You're already isolated.
Yeah.
You know, this is it's already an unsettling situation, I suppose.
Yeah.
Without any outside stimuli.
Exactly.
You know?
Yeah.
So yeah, it's like being on the moon, I guess.
Exactly.
You know, it's just you're by yourself in this with your dog.
Yeah.
But that's not companionship. You know, you don't have anyone to talk to.
Right.
Did you hear the same thing I heard outside?
Yeah. Yeah. Who are you talking to?
Yeah. So there's an element of cabin fever to it as well.
Right.
You know?
Yeah. So you know, I was super stoked about it. Like it just, like I said, it just came to me.
It sounds cool.
I think it's a fun, especially when I tell you more detail.
Sure.
You know, just to kind of bounce it off your head, like just to see if I'm in the right direction.
Well, that and you'd have to fill me in a little bit about mimics.
Yeah, I will.
Because I've not really, I don't know what that is.
Okay. So I did that one, and then the other day I was thinking of I came up with another one. It's going to be a little more tough because I would have to have the I would have to have the cooperation of Universal Studios,
Okay.
for this one, which is it's not doable. It's definitely doable. I think it's just as long as I had the right script, I could approach someone over there to get them, potentially, to get them on board for this idea. I just feel like I think this could be a really fun movie, kind of in the same like category as like your Goonies or your Monster Squad.
Group of kids, kind of deal.
Yeah, and what it is like these kids, like in junior high, go to Universal Studios for the day here in Hollywood, and they're hanging out, having a good time. It's a nice summer day, doing their thing, and the school bullies just happen to be there too.
Okay,
and they see them, so it's the bullies chasing the kids around the park.
Yeah.
Of course, the kids, they don't want to get their asses kicked, so they hide.
Yeah.
And so the bullies hide too. And they wait them out.
Okay.
They wait out long enough until the park closes and no one else is there.
Whoops.
And they come out and the park's empty and they're like, well, we got to get out of here now.
Yeah.
We shouldn't be here. And the bullies come out, but so do all of the Universal monsters.
Oh, how cool.
Roam the park at night.
Yeah.
And you got, Wolfman, Invisible Man, Creature, you got Dracula, you got Frankenstein's monster,
Genius.
And they also do the kind of the split where some of the Universal monsters kind of hang out with the bullies and side with them.
Oh,
then
okay.
you got some of the other ones that are kind of helping the good kids.
Yeah.
So you got like a nice battle showdown at Universal Studios with all the Universal monsters.
That's pretty cool.
So that was an idea that I came up with. I was like, oh, that would be fun.
Yeah.
I think a movie like that would
that's
be
a cool idea.
Yeah, I think it would be. I think so too.
I'd go see it.
So would I. And I told a couple other people, and they were just like, oh no, that's fucking rad. That's what we need in film right now. We need those kind of movies again.
Yeah.
We don't have stuff like that anymore. And I think that is just because of who we are and how we were raised, and it's like
for sure
coming from the 80s, it's just like,
well, we came from a decade where no idea was a bad idea, even if it was a bad idea.
Right.
You know what I mean? Like everything, the 80s were very just throw everything at the wall and see what sticks. So I look at it like we were brought up during a time where creativity thrived.
Yeah.
No matter how outlandish or how crazy, it was like, yeah, just do it. So I definitely approach my projects in a sense of what would I have dug as a kid?
Right.
Even if it's a fucked up movie, it's like, granted, I write to what would I dig as an adult.
Yeah.
But I approach it with that, okay, I've got all the toys I want. How am I going to play with them now? You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And yeah, I try to, I always tell people that I'm chasing the same high I got watching Creepshow or The Fog or something.
Yeah.
If I can catch that and put it on paper,
Yeah.
I'm on a roll.
Yeah.
And it's the nostalgia. It's so I definitely, it's not like, everything we do is going to be steeped in 80s or whatever.
Right.
But
right.
it's, if I could get that feeling back.
But that's just the ingredients.
It is, and it's a high chase. And yeah, I definitely, that's how I write. If I get this idea and I'm like, I'm feeling that high.
Yeah.
I'm feeling that feeling again. So I know that what I got going is probably going to be pretty good.
Yeah, definitely.
Or
yeah.
I at least know that I've got the kernel of a good idea. So
yeah, as soon as I go further with that, like again, I'd like to get your input.
Absolutely. That sounds like a lot of fun.
I think so. When was the last time you had like a serious case of like, not even writer's block, but just like, I don't want to write?
Where I'm just like, no.
Yeah.
Do you mean in general, or like,
yeah,
I have something that I should be writing?
No, not even that. No, not just in general. Just like, not even if you have something you should be writing. Just even if it is that, like, just I don't want to write.
Fairly recently.
Yeah.
Yeah, the last couple weeks.
Yeah.
I think it's just because day-to-day stress, this or that. Just being tired. makes you not want to write.
Oh, of course.
I mean, I could get home from a 8 or 9 hour shift and I'm just like, no. And then you get the kids to bed, you got the house to yourself, you can sit down and write, and you're like, it's the fucking last thing I feel like doing.
Of course.
That is, it's a prevalent feeling. It's a prevalent issue.
Yeah.
But,
because real life definitely affects the creativity.
all of it. And the thing is, when you're 9 to 5 in it,
yeah,
like most of us are, it's very hard to juggle what is essentially 2 jobs. We can't all, I think of Stephen King and he goes into his office 8 hours a day, shuts the door.
Yeah.
And that he puts in a shift of just 8 hours of writing. And it's like, he can do that because he's not doing 8 hours in the mines. You know what I mean? Mm-hmm. So, it's the cross we have to bear right now.
Yeah.
Until we make a name.
Until we can.
That's all.
Do that. Yeah. Yeah, because, even right now, I'm looking to buy a house.
Yep.
There's, real life going on to where I'm like, oh, I can't be creative the way I want to be 100%.
I think a lot of it gets hindered through stress. It's one of those deals where I envy the people who could have a bad day and be like, well, I still gotta. Well, let me put it this way: I envy more the people who are tired as we are, and then they come home and work out.
Yeah.
Oh my God.
Yeah.
Or get up at the ass crack of dawn to go for that jog.
No.
I'm like, I can't. I would love to, and be healthy, but it's the same mentality. I put in all my time and I gave everything. I gave it the office, and now I'm home and I'm like, I don't feel like being talented. I don't feel like engaging that part of my brain.
Yeah.
I just want to chill
and
go to bed or eat dinner and watch TV.
Yeah.
So it's very hard. There's never a moment that goes by that I'm not thinking about it, and the laptop's right there.
Yeah.
So it's never a matter of I can't do it. It's just I'm like, oh, I'm deflated.
But you know what though? Do you ever think too that if you were to do that, force it, do you ever think it would suffer the
yes,
work?
I personally think so.
I do too.
And again, to go back to that Stephen King thing, what if you woke up that morning and you didn't feel like putting in 8 hours on Cujo or The Shining or whatever? That's 8 hours that you're just, the dam's breaking and you're just going.
Yeah.
And I envy that. I think that's super cool for people who can just sit down and just let it pour out.
Yeah.
Whereas I've sat there and I've watched the cursor blink, and I'm just like, I don't even know what to fucking put. And it's even harder when you're just starting a script.
Yeah.
As opposed to one that you've already worked up to a point and you're like, okay, I'm at this scene, so I got to put my head there. And then you continue and it doesn't feel right, but you're like, I got it out. I can always come back and fix it. Whereas kind of where I'm at right now, I have bullet points and I've got structure, but I'm like, I haven't started this.
Yeah.
So there's nothing worse than building the world and then playing. You want to play within it.
Right.
But you got to build it.
Got to build it.
And that's the part I hate. I really do hate starting a script.
Do you really?
I do.
Yeah. You know, I'm the opposite. I love starting the script. I'm very pumped and energized and ecstatic over it.
Yeah.
But after I start the script, if I don't keep that momentum going, it's almost like ADD brain.
Oh, yeah.
And I'm like, because I'm not going to lie. I have many scripts that I didn't finish.
Oh, sure.
And it's not because I think they're no good or, whatever it may be, but it's just like...
No, but something petered out.
Exactly.
And it's just a very real mental block.
No, it is. And that's the thing too, is that listening to all of the shows that we had previously done with the creating the script.
Yeah.
I had told you before you came out here that I was kind of nervous about it.
Yes. You're talking about the episode in general.
Yeah, like putting it out there, because it was like, one, are people going to be interested in this?
It crossed my mind.
And because it's like that whole process for me was extremely fun.
Yeah.
I loved every bit of it.
Yep.
But I was like thinking, the people that don't write, are they going to care?
To put your mind at ease, my family, I know my mom listened to that episode.
Yeah.
My brother listened to that episode. My wife listened to that episode. Each of them had something different. They came away from it with a different opinion. And these are 3 people that don't write.
Okay.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
My mom was of the mind, this sounds like one of the books I used to read.
Okay.
And she's romance. She reads her Harlequins and all that.
Yeah.
But she goes, there's always that Western with Dad's old blueprints and something hidden in a satchel in the house. And she just goes, what you guys are coming up with, she goes, I can picture easily.
Yeah.
She goes, I know that world. And she goes, and it was just fascinating hearing you guys come up with your version of it.
Okay.
Then I get to my wife, who, what she pulled out of it was the collaboration.
Okay.
She didn't really say much about the Western portion or the story. It was more about, you guys work well together.
Uh-huh.
She goes, you guys started with nothing. You both came at it from completely different angles, completely different viewpoints. Shot down this idea. Let's try that. She goes, you guys work well together.
Yeah.
And then I had my brother Josh, who was just like, I found the whole thing fucking hilarious.
Oh, that's okay.
He was just like, it's fascinating.
Yeah.
He goes, I love the fly on the wall aspect. He goes, but you guys are you're naturally funny, and I just enjoyed listening to it for that.
Yeah.
So
okay, good.
And not a writer among them. Mm-hmm. So it was 3 people who got something out of it that don't write, whereas the people who listen who are writers or creatives in some way, who knows what they'll take from it or what they will or won't glean from an episode like that.
Yeah.
I can't see it being anything but helpful.
Cool.
And at the very least, entertaining.
Yeah.
I feel like we did it in a way. Because what's funny is we weren't on, quote unquote. I feel like the same conversations would have been had the mics not been hot. Mm-hmm. You know what I mean? That's the way Brad and I work.
Yeah.
But I enjoyed that aspect of it where it was like, yeah, we have fun doing this, and it sounds to me like people got that.
Yeah.
And it was evident.
Yeah.
So I think that was a pretty cool idea. And I think they just get better as we flesh out the idea. I think the hardest one is out there already.
I definitely do too, because if you remember at the beginning of the episode, we basically were like, okay, I don't want to do a Western.
I know. How funny that it wound up that way. Yeah. It's so weird.
And it was really funny because it was like, all right, well, we went through the whole laundry list of genres and styles and this and that, all with great explanation.
Yeah.
Of like how we feel. You were talking, action versus fantasy, being in the city versus being in the jungle and all this stuff, and it was like, it was funny because when I listened back to them, I almost felt like I wasn't a part of it. I was listening to it for the first time.
Yeah.
And I was just like, oh, that I really, personally, for me, like, I dug the experience.
Well, yeah, because that was, it's different from what we're doing right now, where you're like, we have a topic, we're just going to talk about it, blah, blah, blah. Is this good? Is this good for the air? Is that not good for the air? Nope. We went into it completely from a, just hit record and see what happens. Yeah. And we started with nothing. Mm-hmm.
And it was so crazy. Like, it really was. Like, just listening to the way that thing developed, me personally, I'm very proud of that story.
Sure.
I really am.
The saga of the Stoddards.
I think it's really cool. And honestly, one of my favorite parts was when we were just coming up with the names.
That was funny.
because it was just like,
Yeah.
I like this. No, I don't like that. Oh, what about this? What's that? You know, and it's like, it just rang true, like how much we love horror.
Yeah.
Because even though it's a Western, there's still
seeps in.
It's so peppered in, into the story, and I think it's really, really cool. I'm glad to hear that feedback.
Yeah, I was happy to hear that too.
Yeah.
And I was happy that it wasn't just, yeah, I liked it.
Yeah,
No, everyone gleaned something different, and that was encouraging too, because I'm like, oh, this was like a game of telephone. Everyone came away with a different thing.
yeah,
So I was like, that's kind of what we wanted.
right.
I'm not even sure we were aiming for that, but
No,
it was like we wanted people to get something from it. Mm-hmm. But the fact that people were coming away with different things,
yeah.
that was kind of a weird side effect that I was like, well, that's cool.
It was. Because, like, I'll be honest with you, like, even when I thought of the idea, I don't know why or how it came about, but it was just like, I think it would just be interesting, to create a story
Yeah.
out of nothing.
Yep.
And it was almost like I did it for myself, because I wanted to be able to go back and just listen to how it develops.
Yeah.
Because it's like you hear, you love, Halloween or you Exorcist or, all these things like, and I mean books and all the stuff, that even like, before the films, it's like, I wonder how these stories came about.
Sure.
And now, if this film ever gets made, not only do they know, but they can go back and listen to how the story came about.
Once the movie's made, or if it's made, this suddenly became bonus features.
It did. It really did.
And
I think that's really cool. I think, I'm glad that we were, as far as I know, some of the first people to do it.
Yeah,
on this level.
I don't know anyone else.
Yeah.
Off the top of my head, anyway.
Yeah.
But it was a cool experiment, and I think if people dig it, we could do it again sometime.
I agree. Yeah. Okay, so we'll start right now. So here we go.
Okay. Fade in. Cat's anus on the desk.
Tycoon's Bitch 2.
Tycoon's Bitch 2. Electric Boogaloo.
Versus the cat's anus.
Versus the cat's anus.
Have you seen anything?
Any new movies or anything?
Recently? Yeah.
I'm trying to think. I know I've caught a couple.
Yeah, because it always pisses me off because, I'm doing, whatever it is I'm doing, running here and there and doing this and that. And then you're just like, oh, sitting down to watch this movie. Like, fuck you.
Yeah.
Always at the theater.
Oh, no. Hardly.
I love the theater, though.
I do too, but I do get to sit and, well, not really watch, but I'll have something on while I'm working remote.
Yeah.
And 9 times out of 10, it's something I've seen, and I'm just kind of listening to it.
Yeah.
But as far as sitting down and watching something brand new, not as often as I'd like.
Yeah.
I'm trying to think of the last movie I went to the theater. It was probably Godzilla -1, and that's already on Blu-ray somewhere,
Finally saw it.
Oh, you did?
Yeah.
Which version?
No.
Black and white?
No.
Oh, you didn't get to see that one? I didn't either.
No, I didn't.
I think it's on Netflix now.
I haven't been that entertained from a Godzilla movie since.
Oh, you're talking just in terms of... It felt like a classic Godzilla movie.
It did.
And it was scary.
It was.
Genuinely scary.
Got a little teary-eyed when the original score started.
That was
pounding,
pretty neat, wasn't it?
I was like,
yeah.
Wow.
It was really good.
And not just was Godzilla insane looking.
Oh, he's menacing. He was a monster again.
But it was actually a really beautiful movie.
It was. Yeah. I remember thinking as I'm watching it, even if you took Godzilla out of it, that's just a good character drama.
It is.
It was just a really well-made film.
The story there is awesome. Take Godzilla out, there's a good story there.
Yes.
You know,
It was much more than just a monster movie.
Yeah, I mean, spoiler alert. So I mean, just to let you know. But it's like when he got his buddy to come back to help him build, you know, that plane.
Yep.
And there was a brief moment. That guy reached into the plane and then it cut.
Yep.
I knew exactly what it was.
Me too.
I knew exactly.
I was like, I know where we're going with this. And,
yeah.
And it was still a rewarding reveal.
It was.
It was super cool.
And the way, because, you know, obviously, you know, spoiler, like, you know, his friend put an ejector seat in the plane.
Yes.
And it was cool because, well, he can now have a family.
Yep.
Raise this kid. And then they got a letter that his woman is alive.
Yep.
You know, and I was like, see, that's the Godzilla of the 70s, those like nice wrapped in a bow, the 60s and 70s where it's like, it was a nice happy ending.
Yeah.
You know, and I think I really dug that part of it. Nothing was nothing was detrimental to the story to where it was like, okay, well, they're dead. It's over. It's done.
No.
You know?
And nobody went into it for my money. Just going, well, it's a Godzilla movie, so just destruction.
Yeah.
It was way more than that.
It was.
I thought it was a phenomenal flick.
It was. I loved the relationship between him and the boatmates.
Yeah.
You know, them coming to his house and everything.
Those were cool.
It was done really well. I was really impressed, and it made me so sad that I didn't see it in the theater.
I know. Yeah.
You know,
no, it was solid, man.
And the whole time I'm watching, I'm just like picturing it in black and white on the big screen. I'm just
that would have been cool.
Fuck.
Yeah, that would have been really cool.
I can't believe that. But
yeah, I enjoyed that one. Not so much Godzilla X Kong.
Okay.
The new Empire or whatever it was called.
Yeah.
I took the kids to go see it with my brother. And I think this is like the fourth or fifth in that, you know, Warner Monsterverse.
Yeah.
You know, and just too goofy.
Yeah.
Too cartoonish. And I'm saying that as someone who's enjoyed all of them so far.
Okay.
I did enjoy Godzilla.
Because he likes the Matthew Broderick one. So
I do. I don't mind that one. But like these are like serious ones, and I'm like, you know, even they're popcorn movies, they're fun. Mm-hmm. This one just felt so, I don't know. It felt way too left field for me. It was a little too style over substance, and to watch it after something like Godzilla -1.
Yeah.
Come on.
Yeah,
you know, it was just like, it's too goofy.
Yeah, Godzilla -1 definitely was not a popcorn movie in my opinion.
No, not at all. It was that was a movie.
Yeah.
That was an event film.
It was.
Godzilla X Kong or whatever it's called. That's just a popcorn movie, but there's scenes that just made me laugh that probably weren't meant to be funny. Like, they find like this civilization in the center of the earth, that's been there for centuries, and just to give it to you in a nutshell, one of the main characters enters this room where there's cave drawings or cave markings, and it's not a big room, and the cave markings are crude. It's not exactly like Egyptian hieroglyphics and all this. She rattles off like a 20-minute story by just looking around the room real quick. I remember thinking, there's got to be a more stylistic way to do this.
Yeah.
Where she's just like, oh my God, look here. This is where they discovered this. Oh my God. And then there's this and there's this. And I'm like, I'm bored. Shut up. Yeah. You know, it was just one of those deals where I'm just like, you packed so much exposition into a scene that was just like, what are we doing? Yeah. Just do a flashback or, I've even seen movies where they zoom in on the cave drawings and then they come to life, animated. You know, do something cool. Instead, she's just like running her hand across the wall. Oh my God, and then this happened. Oh, and then look at that. That's what, geez. And Godzilla came, he was like a protector. And I'm just like, no.
Yeah.
Break something. Fucking smash something. Come on. But it was just such a weird left field movie, and they even introduced basically Son of Kong.
Okay.
And it's this annoying little Curious George bastard monkey, and he was annoying. I was like, he couldn't look dumber if he was wearing a diaper. I didn't. Yeah. I couldn't get into it. I couldn't get into it at all.
Yeah.
I mean, the way he looked annoyed me. I was just like, shut up.
I think I want to watch it for the bastard monkey.
Well, it's on Max now.
I just canceled my Max subscription.
Did you?
I did.
Yeah.
They're raising the price, man.
I know. Oh, I know.
They're raising the price.
And what? If you don't pay the price, you get commercials every 5 seconds.
Yeah. No thanks.
No
thanks. Wow. I think the last thing I saw was Dawn of the Dead.
Yes.
I did the 45th anniversary at the Frida.
Lucky dog.
We got to see it there. That was fucking rad.
That would have been cool.
And then
with Goblin.
No, that was the first one. It was just they showed it at the Frida.
Oh, okay.
And then like a couple weeks later, Jaime sends me this thing, and it was Goblin at the Orpheum doing the soundtrack, along with the movie. And I was just like, cool. I went in, I was like, okay, purchase, and I bought the tickets right then and there. It was kind of up in the air because like we had invited Manfredini to go. Mm-hmm. And he was like, let me see. I don't know if I'm going to be busy. And I was like, okay. So then I hit him up like a couple days before the show. I was like, do you want to go to the show or not? I got your ticket. And he's like, I don't think I'm going to be able to go. Like something was going on. I was like, okay, no big deal. And I hit up Jaime and I was like, dude, do you want to go? And he was like, let me see. I might have something going on, but I'll let you know. I was like, all right, cool. He ended up, saying, yeah, I can go. So he met us up there. And man, what an amazing event. Seriously, because it was the first time they had ever played the Dawn of the Dead soundtrack ever live. And the last time they're ever going to do it. And it's cool because it's like the original arrangement from 78.
Okay.
This is why I wanted Manfredini to go, because we're in the little lobby area, like getting drinks and stuff and just kind of hanging out before the show. Jaime's like, hey, look, it was Tom Savini. And I was like, oh, look, there's Greg Nicotero.
Oh, wow. Okay.
It's like, oh, look, here's Eli Roth. I was like, cool. And I was like, all right, cool. Well, yeah, Harry's friends with all of them. So, why would you want to go and hang out with your friends? Cool. All right, whatever. Good. And then it's funny because I actually told him, we had lunch with him a couple weeks ago. And I was like, yeah, remember the show you didn't go to? I was like, well, yeah, Savini was there and Nicotero was there and, Eli Roth was there. And he just goes, fuck. I was like, yeah, dude. Yeah.
Yeah,
Thanks. But what a performance.
You shot me a clip and I was like, this just seems amazing.
It was insane. It really was. It was really cool. And what was crazy about it is, it was the Italian cut.
Yes.
Zombie. And which is like, that's one of my favorite cuts. Mm-hmm. Yeah. I love that version of it.
I think it's the longest.
It is the longest.
Okay.
Yeah. And so not only did they do the entire soundtrack, but then when the show ended, they proceeded to play for almost an hour and a half after all their other hits.
Oh, man.
Suspiria, Demon, Tenebrae, then they did their own arrangements of John Carpenter's Halloween.
Oh, wow.
And Tubular Bells.
Holy shit.
Yeah.
That would have been even cooler.
It was because it's a Goblin version of Halloween.
Yeah. I can't even picture that.
It was so wild. So
I always loved their score for Deep Red.
They did that?
Amazing score.
Yeah, they did that. They were only doing 3 shows.
Well, in the words of Harry Manfredini.
Fuck. Yeah. I think I even told you, I was like, hey, I got a ticket. Just fly out real quick. We'll pick you up at LAX and we'll go see it.
Well, I'll drop everything.
Yeah, why not? It's just one night.
Would have been fucking amazing.
It was really cool. I've been wanting to see a bunch of different movies, but it's just like scheduling just doesn't allow it. There's always something. Nope, can't do it because of this.
Yep. Are there any you're looking forward to? Or that are out?
Well, there are a bunch of movies that I wanted to go see. I mean, obviously, I want to see Maxine.
Yeah, Maxine looks really good.
That's like right. I feel like I think I'm going to really enjoy that one.
Sure.
Just for the context of what it is.
I know. I like
And
the
I think I was just
angle.
recently told, I believe it was Mike Kruger was like, it's not so much like the slasher or scary horror. It more lends itself to like the angel exploitation.
Ooh, I like that too.
Yeah. So
Yeah.
I'm like, oh my God, 84, 85 Hollywood exploitation. I'm in.
Yep.
So it's like, that's something I think is definitely going to have to be done in the theater.
Yeah.
But yeah, there's not really too much.
I of course want to see Deadpool and Wolverine.
Okay.
It's got to be hilarious, I'm
Yeah.
sure. Bill Skarsgård's Nosferatu, supposed to be, I think, around Christmas time.
Okay.
I think that's the Robert Eggers. That looks promising.
Bill's got to redeem himself for The Crow.
What happened to that? Because for a minute we were seeing previews and all of a sudden nothing. And I'm like...
I think the test audiences did their job.
I was going to say, is it still coming out or is it just going to be dumped onto video? I don't know.
Yeah.
But I had no interest
Maybe
in
Asylum's going to pick it up.
it. The Sparrow.
Sparrow. The hummingbird.
The hummingbird, yeah. The two-headed crow attack.
Yeah, because I was so excited for that. I really was. When I heard he was going to be Eric Draven, I was like, okay, just create the world of the original Crow at least. Just make it bigger then.
Yeah.
Make it bigger, but don't... If you have to do it, don't change the formula too much. It felt like, it literally felt like, Pete Davidson starring in the new John Wick.
Kinda. Or Machine Gun Kelly.
Yeah.
It just, there's nothing about it that appealed to me.
No.
And I also got a very distinct vibe that everything that was in the preview is everything you're going to see anyway. None of it seems like particularly a secret. Yeah, I just have no interest.
Yeah, I don't either.
None.
Apparently neither does the studio. So it almost disappeared.
Yeah, I mean, I don't know what happened to it, but
Yeah.
like I said, we were seeing previews for a minute.
Yeah.
And there was a lot of buzz and none of it positive.
Yeah.
But all of a sudden, it's just been radio silence.
Well, it's funny. A buddy of mine sent me a picture, and he was like, "Please tell me this is fucking fake."
Okay.
I was like, "Holy shit!" And I looked it up. There's a site like Industry People you can kind of go on to look for jobs and things like that. And
Sure.
it tells you like what productions are coming out, what's in production, shit like that. So I went on and I looked and I was like, I don't see anything about this, so I think it's fake.
Okay.
And he was like, thank Christ. As was I, but it was Will Smith as Popeye.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
Well, no.
Yeah. So
No, thank you.
Yeah, and I think it was just someone fucking around.
Probably. Well, nowadays, I mean, I know that was like a publication, but the clickbait stuff, I mean, I don't even know what's real and what's not anymore. I'll get these YouTube notifications. New trailer just dropped for this or that. And I'm like, what?
Yeah.
And then I look at it and I'm like, this is just some fan-made shit.
Oh, yeah, they did a lot of that for Beetlejuice.
Oh, I know.
Yeah.
Yeah, I was going to say that. And that's another one I'm looking forward to.
Are you?
I do kind of want to see that one.
So let me tell you this.
That one's more out of curiosity.
Okay. So I'm going to tiptoe around this.
Yeah.
I know someone who saw it.
Okay. Oh, no. You're just like, not so much.
Yeah. It was like I heard way too many stories going on at one time. Way too many stories because you have
spinning too many plates.
You have Catherine O'Hara, you have Winona Ryder, you have Jenna Ortega, all their stories all going on at the same time.
Jeez.
Yeah.
Okay.
Then there's other people that are involved and you have their stories. And it's a lot of the same jokes rehashed. And the script was seemed very rushed.
which is weird because it's like 30 years old.
Exactly.
You know,
but
you've had this forever.
Yeah. And it just, they said it didn't seem like a very well thought out script.
Okay.
You know, and these are, these were people that like, I was like, yeah, these guys, they know movies. And I believe, you know, what there's, I mean, I'm still going to watch it.
Me too.
You know, I'm still going to watch it.
I'm curious.
Yeah.
And even if I wasn't, I've got 2 kids that are like, we're going, right?
Yeah.
I'm like, yeah, all right, we'll go.
Yeah, no, I definitely want to go see
And
it.
I'm a fan of everyone involved.
Yeah.
But yeah, when the previews I've been seeing, I was just kind of like, huh.
Yeah.
You know, I was surprised at how little it moved my needle. Mm-hmm. You know, because I'm just like, I've kind of waited for a sequel for so long.
When we got the first teaser trailer and they start playing the song and it's like kind of floating over the town.
Yeah.
You know, and then it like, you know, it cuts to the like the cemetery and stuff. Like I got a little like, oh man, I got a little excited, a little nostalgia.
A little bit, yeah.
But then when the actual trailer dropped.
Yeah, that showed you so much more.
Yeah.
Too
which
much.
Which also lends like, you know, the credibility of that these guys were not wrong because there's a lot going on in that trailer.
Yeah.
You know, and it's just like, okay.
Oh yeah, there's like a whole subplot about like a Monica Bellucci playing Beetlejuice's jilted ex or something, and there's a lot going on.
There's a lot going on, and that's what I heard. You know, so. But I mean, I'm still gonna watch it.
Yeah,
you know,
no, I'm curious.
Yeah, still gonna watch it. So what do you think about like the new Lethal Weapon stuff?
I don't know. I'm still kind of like, I'll believe it when I see it.
Because I mean,
I know it's going forward.
It's definitely going forward,
and I know that Mel's steering.
Yeah. On the like,
and I think it was a script by Donner.
It was.
So.
And it was on the like, please do this.
Really?
Yeah, because like he knew he was dying.
Oh yeah, that I knew. Yeah. No, I'm down because as we talked about in one of our sequel episodes, I wasn't clamoring for a Lethal Weapon 4, and when it came out, I really enjoyed it. Mm-hmm. I'm not really clamoring for a Lethal Weapon 5, so I'm going in open-minded, and it might surprise the shit out of me.
I'm a huge Lethal Weapon fan.
Me too.
Like huge. I love them all.
There's not one in the 4 that I dislike.
Yeah.
There's a couple that I shouldn't say a couple. 3 is probably my least.
Yeah.
And even that's just a good movie. Mm-hmm. Whereas 1 and 2 are phenomenal.
Yeah. Yeah.
So yeah, I'm looking forward to it, but I'm keeping an open mind because it's another one that we just don't need. Mm-hmm. But who knows?
Yeah.
You know. I am stoked as hell about Mike Flanagan getting The Exorcist.
Yeah.
From Blumhouse. We've talked about him a lot. So far, he has yet to disappoint me. And he seems, especially with religion being such a prevalent theme in all of his projects, I feel like he's going to come at it from a very interesting angle.
Okay.
I think we're going to take it back to matters of faith as opposed to it's just another possession movie.
Gotcha.
I think he's going to do something deep.
Right.
That none of the movies have really done since the first one. Mm-hmm. Even the one I like, Exorcist 3, isn't really a faith movie. It's more of just like a murder mystery.
Right.
With possession overtones, But
still no heretic love, huh?
No. Nope.
Okay.
No heretic love from me.
Okay.
Or beginning.
Okay.
Or believer.
Okay. All right.
Or dominion.
I understand. I understand.
We're supposed to get a fourth and final.
Okay.
I heard The Last Rites. I've enjoyed all the Conjuring movies so far, so I'm looking forward to that. Which I think I heard somewhere they finally dropped the release date. I guess that's going to be September of next year.
Wow. Okay, so we still got a ways.
When I landed in Vegas for my connecting flight, the new trailer dropped for Captain America Brave New World, I think it's called. And it's the fourth in the Captain America saga. Mm-hmm. And William Hurt used to play General Ross in the Marvel Universe, Thunderbolt Ross, who becomes, I guess in the comics, and again, going back to our comic episode, I don't know.
Maybe.
But he apparently becomes Red Hulk in the comics. And the preview that I saw, Harrison Ford has taken that role.
Okay.
And the final image in the trailer showed him snatching Captain America's shield out of the sky and just throwing it into the ground. Ping,
Really?
So it's just a real quick glimpse, but it was like, oh, we're getting Red Hulk, But the movie, there's been, the last few Marvel movies have really been dragged by fans. They're like, you're getting too goofy. You're, after ending a saga perfectly with these Infinity movies, everything's just goofy now. It's almost like we're not world building like we were towards something big.
Yeah. Why do you think that is?
I don't know. And I'm worried that because Infinity War and Endgame put such a bow on everything, I was looking forward to, okay, we're back to a blank slate, start introducing new Marvel characters or,
Yeah.
And a lot of it's been tinged with comedy that's not entirely necessary.
Okay.
This preview I watched for Captain America looks like an old school espionage movie again.
Oh,
like
wow.
This looks like kind of like the way Winter Soldier was a few years back, where if you took the comic aspect out of it, it could fit in with like Patriot Games, Hunt for Red October.
Oh, okay.
It's an espionage government movie.
Yeah.
And to me, this preview, when I watched it today, I was like, this just looks like a good spy thriller.
Yeah.
So I'm excited about that one. I wasn't sure where that was going to go. But that comes out, I guess, in February.
Okay.
So
still a ways away.
It's still a ways.
Yeah.
Which is funny because between that and February, Conjuring in September, do we really know what's coming like in this holiday season? Because usually that's the big dump. That's where the big stuff comes out.
Yeah.
And all I could think of was Nosferatu with Skarsgård.
Okay. Yeah, I mean, I know there's a couple that I'm curious about.
Which even Beetlejuice, that's around Halloween, right?
I think so. I mean, I think maybe we could save some of those for another show.
Sure.
Because I think it would be cool to do the whole list.
Yeah, at least look up what's coming.
What's coming out for maybe even like the rest of this year,
Yeah.
and maybe like the beginning of next year.
Yeah.
As well. So, yeah, I mean, it was good catching up. I'm glad you're back.
Yes.
I'm ready to do a shitload more of these.
Feels good.
Ready
to get back to work.
Same.
Yeah, man.
Okay, well, until next time.
See you guys.